Hello and welcome to another episode of Afghan Views. On this particular episode of Afghan Views, we're going to be talking to someone who was not based in Afghanistan at the time of the fall of Kabul, but was in the OIC, was based in a country within West Asia, an Afghan diplomat who thereafter has now sought refuge in a third country. We will be speaking with Omid Rashid. Welcome, Omid. Thank you so much for taking time to speak to us on this particular series, Afghan Views.
Thank you very much, George. It's a pleasure for me.
Omid, let me start off by asking you, you were working outside Afghanistan before August 2021. What happened after that?
Oh, in fact, on that day, everyone, as every other Afghans, we did not expect that collapse will happen exactly on those days or exactly on the 15th of August. But we used to follow the news as daily. On that day when we came to the office, we heard that the Taliban entered to Kabul. So it was very unexpected news, or we just surprised. And for a moment, I was hanged. Like, seriously, I was not able to accept this news because we had a big military, we had so many resources, like and forces in Afghanistan to defend the country, and especially the capital of Afghanistan. And there were some talks that we used to hear about it, that the Taliban will not enter to the Kabul. But unfortunately, the first thing which I heard about was the flee of Afghanistan by the president, and the escape of the President Ashraf Ghani, and that was also a very big, sad, and surprise news for me and for my colleagues. So what happened that exactly on that time, on that moment, we didn't know that what should we do exactly. We were just at the office. We didn't know what gonna happen next. So for 1 week, we were just like confused, and we were even none of us could understand anything about exactly what is going on in Kabul. But the saddest moment which we used to follow was the tragedy of the Kabul airport, with the people. We saw the people that they are escaping from the Taliban, and they just wanted to fly in a very tragic way. So what happened that after a month of after 15th of August, like we decided that okay, now it's already 1 month, and on September, I thought that there is no option to be here anymore. And a month after 15th of August, I decided to come to the United States, and I came here back because I had no option to go back to Kabul. And this was, for me personally, it was a very big and tremendous tragedy that I was leaving my job, my country, maybe forever, or who knows, up to the time which the Taliban are there. So for some people, they think that it's an easy decision, but for me, it was the toughest decision of my life ever, because I loved my country, I love to serve my country, and in past 30 years of my life, I have been always in Afghanistan, just sometimes for some courses or trainings or education. I was outside Afghanistan, but rest of my life I was there. There was so many chances before this that if I wanted, I could leave my country, or I could stay in some other countries. But I never had this decision in my mind that the day will come that I will be obliged and I will be like helpless for myself, that I have no other option just to leave the country. So this was a very big tragedy for me. I will never forget it. Um, the difficulties which daily we face now as a asylum seeker in United States, or as an immigrant here, is really hurting me,
That's the point
because
I want to come to, Omid. I want to ask you, you are now in a new home, as many Afghans are. They have sought refuge in different countries around the world. What has life been like for you in the last so many months? What has it been like? Could you give us a rough idea of what it is like?
like how it looks now, um, definitely it will not look like home, because for everyone their country is their own paradise in this world. So nothing can be a parallel for our house, for our home. But we are at this situation of surviving. So from the moment which I came to United States, um, on the first day when I booked the ticket to fly to United States, I was very suspicious and ambiguous that where I should go, or where I'm about to leave, because I even didn't know that which city of United States I have to land. And then I came to Washington D.C. and my journey started from there. And from I was there for one week in Washington D.C. and I came to uh, is a area, or we can say is a county called Petersburg. So I came to Petersburg, and from there to Halifax. It is different places is in Virginia. So because I was homeless, so everywhere which I could find a place to stay, I used to go there, and that is still going on. I hope that soon this story will finish and I will be able to settle somewhere. Uh, as you know that I came with a visit visa, so the United States government, they will not provide any kind of assistance for the people like me who came with a visit visa. But still, I'm thankful of the United States that they do provide some help for other Afghans who came from Afghanistan, from the Kabul. They provided them shelters, and recently I heard that they were located in homes and for new homes. For me, as a diplomat, which I used to serve my country, today new home is a big tragedy part of my life, because I used to start again from some points, we can say from the 0 point. So this is really, it really hurts, and everything has been changed. My name is changed, like the way my language changed. I cannot talk to anyone with my mother language, from my country language. No one can pronounce my name as it is. So there are many things has changed for me. Maybe for some Afghans, which they were not in job, or they were not in a position of working or serving the country. But for the people like me, which we used to do something for our country, we learned something to serve our country. But now this tragedy, every day it hurts. I hope the day will come back that we will go back to our country and to do our best of ours to serve our country.
Absolutely. Omid, you were talking about people having come to America. There are also Afghans, we saw very harrowing images in those days after the fall of Kabul and after the Kabul, people leaving the Kabul airport. Terrifying photographs, terrifying videos that we saw, people clinging on planes trying to get out of the country. Do you know where most of these people are at present? Some have gone to America, but do you know where else they have been settled in?
The people who was evacuated by the United States, as per my information, they're mostly in UAE or United in Emirates and in Abu Dhabi, which recently you may hear through the news is that like around more than 12,000 of Afghans are living there, and they're waiting for their evacuation or for their last destination, which is United States. So a huge number of Afghans are now in Abu Dhabi and second in Qatar. And there are some people in Pakistan also, as per my information, which they're living there and they're waiting for their cases to be proceed. And mostly those are the people who are going to European countries in Pakistan, as per my information. But there are some people also in Turkey, which they're also waiting for their cases. But major people, a major number of Afghan people are, which is more than 12,000, they are in Abu Dhabi, in Emirates. And they're waiting for their
I see.
cases to be proceeded.
Exactly. Omid, if you just go back to what happened in August of last year, we saw Kabul falling much faster than it was expected. Can you talk us through how this actually happened? How come there was no resistance from the armed forces, from the citizens? Was it that people were expecting it to happen? Were they fearful of what was happening? What was the real rationale for it to happen so fast?
It is a very tough question, because most of the people who are very experienced, or we can say even in the United States Senate and also in the government, they also confess about that it was very unexpected fall or collapse in Afghanistan. But what I can underline here, as per my own analysis, which these following reasons can be some of them. It has two reasons, one international and the other part is national one. The international is the one-side negotiation of, or we can say unilateral negotiation of United States with Taliban without involving Afghan government in the level which they had to be involved. So they were not involved in as a real actor, but just they were isolated. So the withdrawal of United States happened in a way that paved the ground for the collapse of the government. This is one reason. And the other side, nationally, inside the country, there was some reasons also. For instance, the reform which President Ghani brought to the defense ministry, it was a very wrong decision, or a kind of wrong reform. President Ghani, in the high-ranking positions, just hired the people who are not expert of that job. So they were not very known about the war, or about the conflict which was going on. So this is one reason which the President Ghani destabilize the defense ministry of Afghanistan. Second thing, which is about this Afghan soldiers or public, why they didn't have a resistance. The reason is that the Afghan government, especially the President Ghani and their own team, was much corrupted, which you can hear, you can read it on the different sources, that it was like at the top second corrupted. These corruptions discouraged people to help or to resist against the Taliban, or also even the soldiers, because they thought that they didn't want to fight for a government which the President Ghani was the leader of that. Most of the people, they came at the point which they really didn't like President Ghani and their triangle team. Why I'm calling it triangle team, which in Afghanistan, everyone used to call that team as a triangle team. It was three people who controlled all over the country. The President Ghani didn't pave the ground for everyone. They were mostly just ruled by three people, and they centralized all the power within his own office. For Afghanistan, which is a multi-cultural and different ethnics there, it is hard to rule that country with a mentality of with one ethnic mentality. So I mean, like, we have to give spaces for every other ethnicity which is exist in Afghanistan. Same thing which now the world expects from the Taliban, which is the same thing going on with the Taliban. So there are still rumors that the President Ghani, it was not a real collapse. It was just a like transformation of power from by the President Ghani to Taliban. So I cannot judge that at this moment that it was a real or not, but there are rumors saying that the President Ghani intentionally did that to give the power to them, to the Taliban. So the reasons which I told you is that the real factors are that the soldiers or Afghan soldiers, some of them didn't want to fight for the government of Afghanistan. Some others, if they wanted to fight also, they did not receive the arms, or we can say the bullets, because most of the soldiers or most of the officers complained about that, which you don't receive the immunities at the right time, especially in the north of Afghanistan. Some of the rural commanders, which they wanted to fight against the Taliban, they used to complain daily that we don't receive the support. So here we can see that there was something additionally going on that time. They wanted to help the collapse of Afghanistan in the hand of Taliban. So these are the few reasons which I can tell you at the moment.
Extremely complex, no doubt. When you look at the complexities of the conflict, what has happened in that country, Afghanistan is a country that has been wrecked by conflict for many decades now. So this is certainly a very complex, complicated situation, no doubt, from what you have been also sharing with us. Omid, if we look at Afghanistan right now, there is a severe humanitarian crisis. You have family, you have friends back at home. What is the situation that you are hearing about?
The biggest tragedy or the huge problem or challenges with the daily now Afghan people used to face them every day is poverty or hunger, which there is no work, no job, no money, no salary, and surviving in such a situation, which also the Afghan money was freezed here in the United States, in New York, by the United States government. But just like a day before, in an executive order, it was released, but still it has its own official process in the United States, which was spelled into two parts: one for the victims of 9/11, and another will go for humanitarian assistance, which it's another discussion. So far, you asked me about the challenges which my family and most of the Afghans, like 90%, 99% of all Afghanistan people facing that. It's poverty and insecurity, mental and physical. You can see daily in the news, maybe you heard about, daily people disappeared, tortured, especially women, those who are protesting daily against this for their rights, at least for their basic rights, which is education, going to school. They don't have their own basic rights. They cannot work in any offices. They cannot work in any official governmental office or even non-governmental. So these are the challenges which we can say Afghan people are facing. Some of people, they just hide themselves in some area. Some others escape. But those who are in Afghanistan, they cannot afford one-time food, which is very difficult for them. Living in such a situation is very hard. I heard the news that some people died from starving. So hunger, starving, and poverty is huge challenges now in Afghanistan, which my family and millions of families are facing that daily.
Extremely tragic to hear that. We saw some kind of rays of hope coming out of Norway. We keep thinking that the recent talks that were held in Norway would have some kind of respite. Of course, humanitarian aid is being connected to human rights. How confident are you that these agreements will hold, that they will be implemented, that they will see some kind of change for the lives of people in Afghanistan?
Based on my information, I'm not very hopeful about the talks in Norway, because it was much more in the favor of Taliban than in the favor of people of Afghanistan. They came to Norway just to show to the people around the world that they are a civilized people, which they can travel to Europe, they can travel to a European country, which for them it was a big achievement. So far, I have some details about that meeting from my friends. The opposite side of the Taliban, which was from the civil society of Afghanistan, from the women activists, they provided a paper and some expectations from the Taliban. They wrote that in that paper. The Taliban didn't say that they will accept them. They say that we want to take this and we will go back to Afghanistan, and there we will decide about it. So what they say that it is like more unclear, or we can say ambiguous, that we will decide inside Afghanistan means what? and still they didn't give a very clear message or clear reply to that. Not only they didn't give a positive answer to those expectations, which is a very legitimate expectations. On the other hand, they daily continue to arrest people from around the city. They used to kill people. For example, just last day, they captured around 40 women rights activists, which is a huge number. So on the other hand, they attack into one of the political activists, or we can say a political figure of Afghanistan, to their houses, to his residency. They killed their son and injured their wife. And even today, I heard the bad news that they entered to a poet house, one of the young poet house. They beat him and his wife and his photos. I saw their photos on the social media. So based on these things, which we can say very clearly that there is no changes in the behavior of Taliban, and there is no positive outcome from the Norway. So I hope we will witness some positive changes soon, but so far we cannot see these evidences within the Taliban regime in Afghanistan.
Omid, on a final point, it's a very trying time back in Afghanistan for you and for thousands of others who have been displaced and also who are facing difficulties in the country. How hopeful are you of returning to your home country sometime soon?
For us, as a Muslim, the point is that we shouldn't be despair in our life ever. But unfortunately, at this moment, for me, it's inaccessible. I can't see myself at this situation in Afghanistan. I will not be able to work with the government of Taliban, and they will not give me this chance, although, and my life is all in danger, and my family life is in danger. So that's why my parents are now leaving out of Afghanistan. I'm also out of Afghanistan, my brother, but still some of my families are stuck there. I hope we can find a solution for them, but I am not hopeful at this situation. I hope we will be able to go back to our country. That's our homeland, that's our motherland, and I really miss my country. I miss my city. I hope I will be back to my work, to my country one day soon.
Thank you so much, Omid. We certainly hope that you will be reunited with your family sometime very soon, if not in Afghanistan, at least somewhere else in the world, so that you all are together. And hopefully at some point you will be able to go back home, just as many thousands around the world will also be hoping to return home to Kabul and their cities across the country. Thank you very much, Omid, for taking time, for also coming forward and speaking, sharing with us your views, giving us a perception of what is happening in your country, what you have gone through as an Afghan, journey you have had to face, and for being very open about it in terms of talking to us, giving us details, helping us understand the situation in Afghanistan that much better as we reflect on what has happened in the last 6 months, especially with regard to the fall of Kabul, as we mark the 6th month since this has taken place. So thank you once again, Omid, and we wish you the very best, and we hope for nothing but the best for you and for your family, to return, to get together at some point soon, and to return home as well.
Thank you very much, George. It was very honor and pleasure being with you, and thank you for providing this opportunity for me to express my views and my thoughts with the people around the world. I hope the way you said that soon I will be able to reunite with my family. I really miss them. I miss my country, and just like every other people of the world, we also have the right to live with our families. We have the right to live in our country. But unfortunately, we are always a victim of terrorism. We are always a victim of dirty political games around the world. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome, Omid. Thank you once again. And thank you for joining us on this program. This is another episode in the Afghan Views series, as the Awarelogue initiative focuses on what has been taking place in Afghanistan and what are developments connected to resolving the issues, recognizing administrations, trying to engage, but also not forgetting that there are people on the ground, people who are going through hardships on a daily basis. This is what we're trying to do through Awarelogue in terms of building awareness and engaging in dialogue. So thank you once again for joining us on this particular episode.
You're most welcome. It was a pleasure for me.